Eldora Mountain Resort is a ski area located in the southwest corner of Boulder County along the Front Range of Colorado. Spanning over 680 acres, it provides a reasonable-sized footprint for its location. But how does it stack with other Front Range resorts? Is it even worth going to if you are traveling from out of state? Let's find out in today's video. Eldora has a decent variety of terrain for its size. It is split between 20% beginners, 50% intermediate, and 30% advanced. Runs generally get more difficult going from skiers right to left. Beginners have a dedicated learning area off the Tenderfoot Magic Carpet, located on the far skier's right of the mountain. Runs such as Little Hawk and Uncle Bob's are wide open and provide separation for more advanced skiers and riders. Moving further left, beginners can take on more challenging runs such as Riders and Bunny Fair. These runs are longer and steeper than the learning area. However, these runs are not separated from more advanced skiers and riders. A Woodward Eldora Freestyle Park is located in the middle of the Riders' Run. This can create conflicts between beginners and freestyle park riders, which make it uncomfortable for beginners to ski here. Overall, beginners have a separate learning area, but finding comfortable areas to ski outside may be difficult. Intermediates have a variety of terrain to choose from. From the base area, the Alpenglow 6-pack provides quick access to runs such as Windmill, Hornblower, and International. These runs are wide-open groomers that are great cruising terrain. There's even top-to-bottom access on the Indian Peak Triple, which allows for a good variety of terrain. However, due to the limited vertical drop at the resort, the intermediate runs can often feel short compared to other larger resorts in the area. After a few laps, the runs can get quite boring very quickly. Advanced skiers and riders have a good selection to choose from. Skiers and riders have steep groomers such as Muleshoe and Alpenhorn, which are great to go fast down. For moguls, skiers and riders can start with shorter runs such as Challenger and Psychopath, before advancing to longer runs such as Wolf Tongue and Ambush. But as with the intermediate terrain, these runs are not as long when compared to other Front Range resorts. The most advanced terrain at Eldora is the tree runs. These span across both the Indian Peaks and Corona triple lifts. The spacing of trees and the steepness of the trees vary widely, but they generally are all rated a double black diamond, extreme terrain. The Salto Glades feature widely spaced trees and steep drops, with bowl-like terrain. In contrast, tree runs such as Gully Glades and Brains Glades feature tighter trees with shallow drops. They are more akin to traditional tree runs that you would find at other Front Range resorts. At other resorts, these runs would most likely be rated a single black diamond. They are rated a double black diamond due to Eldora's family-friendly nature and the lack of similarly difficult terrain at the resort. Finally, one aspect of Eldora that remains strong is its freestyle terrain. The resort collaborates with Woodward to make a wide range of parks, all with their own uniquely sized features. Freestyle terrain opens early with a small park located in the base area. Additional features open throughout the season, with a good progression from small features to large features. The highlight is the halfpipe, which opens in February, and is pretty impressive considering Eldora's footprint. Skiers and riders who love freestyle terrain will definitely appreciate Eldora's parks. Although not the largest in Colorado, it is competitive and even larger than other Front Range resorts. Eldora is severely lacking in open bowl and alpine, above tree-line, terrain. The resort summit is 10,800 feet, which is a lower elevation of the base areas of other Front Range resorts. The lack of alpine terrain limits the variety available, making it less competitive with the larger Front Range resorts. In addition, none of the extreme terrain runs are particularly challenging, meaning the most advanced of skiers and riders may want to look elsewhere to fuel their adrenaline. However, the beginner and intermediate options are very solid and comparable to other resorts, albeit limited. Freestyle terrain is competitive and provides more variety than other, larger Front Range resorts. Eldora is home to 7 different lifts. Many of the lifts date back to the opening days of the resort, with the exception of Alpenglow. The first lift is Alpenglow, a high-speed 6-pack that is the most modern lift at the resort. It opened in 2018 and provides a seamless, fast ride to the top of Challenge Mountain. Even on busier days, the lift is able to handle the crowds efficiently. It has a conveyor belt at the bottom to allow for seamless boarding of skiers and riders. The same cannot be said for the other lifts at the mountain. Both Indian Peaks and Corona are slow, fixed-grip triple lifts that have a 10-minute ride time. The Corona lift in particular can feel agonizingly slow and make the surrounding terrain harder to lap. At least there is a footrest for the long ride up. In addition, this lift can also have capacity issues during peak periods. These lifts can be major choke points for people looking to lap advanced terrain and get back to the main base areas. Besides the Indian Peaks and Corona, the other lifts do not suffer from these issues. This is largely attributed to the vertical distance that these lifts cover, which is much smaller than the Corona or Indian Peaks lifts. Additionally, these lifts serve less in-demand areas such as terrain parks and beginner areas. These areas probably do not really need the capacity of high-speed, detachable lift. Overall, Eldora's lift infrastructure is tired. The Corona and Indian Peaks lift could use improvements, but the other fixed-gripped lifts are perfectly adequate for the terrain that they serve. The Alpenglow lift is the shining star at the resort, boasting the most modern and higher-capacity lift configuration. Eldora has better access to the Front Range than most other resorts in Colorado. It is connected to the Regional Transportation District, the public transportation agency of the Greater Denver metro area. The NB commuter bus route connects downtown Boulder, the nearby city of Nederland, and the resort with hourly service, 7 days a week. This provides a great option for those looking to get to the resort without a car. For guests traveling in their cars, there are 2 main routes to the resort. State Route 119, Boulder Canyon Road, is the main access point into the resort. It starts in downtown Boulder, heads up Boulder Creek Canyon and passes through the town of Nederland before reaching the resort. On peak days, this road can become congested. However, it is nowhere near the travel difficulties of Interstate 70, which lies to the south. In addition, the total drive time is about 30 minutes, which is much closer than other Front Range resorts. One small downside of Eldora is the shelf road that connects the resort with State Route 119. This road is treacherous with steep gradients and sharp curves. Combined with adverse conditions, the last few miles up into the resort can be treacherous. Nonetheless, this does not detract from the resort's great access to the Front Range, which is better than other resorts in the area. Eldora begins the season around mid to late November, depending on the weather. The first runs to open are the International, Hornblower and Windmill runs. Successive runs are opened around the Alpenglow lift, before operations are shifted to Indian Peaks and finally, Corona. Eldora has the distinction of being the only mountain in Colorado where 100% of the groomed terrain can be serviced through snowmaking. This allows for trails to be opened early and consistently throughout the season. By January, most of the terrain is open, with the exception of the extreme terrain, which is not part of the snowmaking operations. Trails are regularly groomed and on par with other resorts in the area. Freestyle terrain starts with a small park in the base area. Successive features are built as more snow is made and accumulated throughout the season. Most of the parks are completed by February, which is on par with other resorts. The wind plays a major factor in Eldora's operations. On particularly bad days, wind can approach hurricane-level speeds, resulting in lift closures or the closing of the entire resort. Even if more wind-resistant lifts such as Alpenglow remain open, the blowing snow can be extremely uncomfortable. Visibility also decreases drastically, making skiing and riding life-threatening, and navigating the mountain becomes impossible. On these days, it is probably better to avoid going to the resort altogether for one's own life and safety. Due to Eldora's limited snowfall and lower elevation, the season is limited compared to other Front Range resorts. The strong wind is a unique phenomenon and can be life-threatening depending on the conditions. In the past, seasons have ended in early April. Despite this, the robust snowmaking does make up for the shorter overall season at the resort. Eldora is accessible via the Icon Base and Icon Pass, with unlimited days on the later and select blackout days on the former. Season Pass and day lift tickets are available online and in person. Eldora's location in the Rocky Mountain foothills and east of Continental Divide limit its natural snowfall compared to other Colorado resorts. Additionally, Eldora suffers from terrible wind due to its location at the top of Boulder Creek Canyon. The combination of these factors can lead to subpar conditions on limited days. However, these are not the norm. On average, Eldora receives 200 inches per year. This is less than all of the other Front Range resorts. This is simply due to Eldora's location. Most storms track west of the Continental Divide, and more snow accumulates at higher elevations. There can be dry spells between storm cycles resulting in icy conditions. During the core season, there is usually one storm or snow event every week which ensures that the slopes do not become unskiable. In addition, Eldora's lower elevation results in more freeze-thaw cycles. This can cause runs to ice over during the night and become slushy during the afternoon hours. Mornings can have particularly poor conditions with iced-up runs. Although most of the resort faces north and east, some trails do face south. Consequently, these runs have some of the worst conditions at the resort. The wind can also scrape up any remaining snow on the runs, leading to dangerously icy conditions. Despite the less snow, the quality of the snow is consistent with other Front Range resorts. The snow is light, fluffy, and powdery. Eldora does not receive rain or other precipitation that negatively impacts snow quality. To summarize, the wind, freeze-thaw cycles and lower snowfall can contribute to subpar conditions at the resort. Nevertheless, snow quality is good, making turns and powder days just as enjoyable as other Front Range resorts. Eldora lacks on-site accommodations. This is a huge drawback to other Front Range resorts, of which a majority have a range of on-site accommodations. The lack of accommodations forces guests to look in nearby cities and towns. The nearby town of Nederland has motels, bed and breakfasts, and other accommodations. If you are staying in town, your best bet is Boulder, about 30 minutes down the road. Boulder is a large college town that has many different accommodations, all there to suit everyone's needs. It also has much more amenities compared to the town of Nederland. Due to Eldora's smaller footprint, accommodations may not be needed. Most of the mountain can be explored in one day, and additional days could result in boredom for more advanced skiers and riders. At maximum, one night at a nearby accommodation should be plenty enough for the majority of guests. Eldora Mountain Resort is a family-friendly resort located in the foothills of the Front Range. It provides a great variety of terrain for a resort of its size. However, if you are looking for a multi-day ski vacation, Eldora should not be your first choice. It lacks the lodging options and cannot provide the experience of skiing at a larger mountain resort. Out-of-town visitors should not consider visiting Eldora a top priority. However, if they have extra time or cannot make the trek up I-70, it is definitely worth a visit. Now it's time to use the skier score to rate Eldora on 6 categories. Each category will be rated on 1 to 5 scale. For comparisons of different ski resorts, please use the spreadsheet link in the description. It will be updated periodically. If you want to see what each rating represents, please look at the description located inside of the spreadsheet. For the terrain category, Eldora gets a 2. For the lifts category, Eldora gets a 2. For the access, Eldora gets a 4. For the operations, Eldora gets a 4. For the powder category, Eldora gets a 3. For the lodging and accommodations category, Eldora gets a 1. This adds up to a total score of 16 out of 30. Thank you to everyone for watching. Please consider supporting the channel by subscribing, and I hope you come back for future content. Goodbye.